Hi, I'm Luan Akin with Tagawa Gardens here in Centennial, Colorado. We're actually off-site today at a dear friend's house. This is Kris. Our mutual friend is Beth, and she has let us come to her house to borrow her compost bins because we want to tell you how to compost with success because it's such a great way to recycle and enrich the soil in your garden. Kris is a master composter, so feel free to be impressed. And she's here going to kind of walk us through the very basic parts of composting in your backyard. Kris.
Well, it's such an easy thing to do, and I want to try to make it as simple as I can by saying, composting happens. You can be as technical or as non-technical as you want, but it boils down to these two things: green and brown.
Anything that was, almost anything that was organic, that was living at one time. So this is an old grass that I actually brought. It was growing in a pot, but it's long dead, and this becomes one of the browns. And you have...
I have live fleshy things that were just pulled, so they're considered greens.
Okay.
So it's measurement of green and brown. So 2/3 brown.
So if you had 2 tubs, if you were going to make a 3-tub sized compost pile.
Exactly.
2 tubs of brown.
1 tub of green.
Okay.
Now, these are in very big pieces. What you could do to speed up composition and speed up your compost pile is to lay this on the ground and run over it with a lawnmower to get it into small 1 or 2 inch pieces. Or you could leave it whole and just know that your compost pile will take longer to decompose. But it's harder for the microorganisms to move on big pieces and work with big pieces like this.
So when it's cut, and you were using the analogy of us taking small bites.
Right. We don't take a whole apple, cram it in our mouth. We have to take things in small bites also. Composting is very similar to the human body. So not only do we need 2/3 brown to 1/3 green, we need moisture, we need water in this compost pile to the measurement of a wrung out sponge. Our friend's compost pile is the perfect amount of moisture. She's got this not too wet, not too dry. It's nice and warm. I would gauge that this compost pile is running around 100 degrees right now.
Because all of those little microorganisms are in there creating heat, doing their lovely little thing. And sometimes these compost piles will get up to 130,
I've seen them 140.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's cooking. Your compost is cooking. That means it's happy and healthy.
Right, and that means it's decomposing.
Right.
So then when if you're going to use these preformed bins, any type of composting works, pallets, the preformed bins, snow fences, there's all different ways to make a compost pile. A freeform pile is what I use. It's still the same technique, 2/3 brown, 1/3 green, water. You prepare the pile outside the bin first. So you mix up your 2/3 brown, your 1/3 green, and your water, and add a little compost to inoculate that compost pile. Put it in your bin, then start. You want to show them how to turn a pile?
This is great. You can take out all your aggression on your compost pile. This is a compost aerator. Turn it in, pull it up, and you're introducing air and getting a little bit of a bicep workout in the process. It's really fun. Great stuff.
And even in the winter, you'll be able to turn your piles.
And this won't freeze as long as it's happy, healthy, and at that higher temperature of decomposing. Shall I do yours? Oh.
Corn cob, same thing.
Cobs. Woohoo! Yeah, there's lots of great stuff in here. And then these kinds of bins are really great if you live in a neighborhood where they want to control some of the visuals a little bit. Maybe you can't have an open pile of compost. So these enclose it, and Beth comes in every now and then and pulls the finished compost out of that little drawer at the bottom, because the compost that's oldest, that presumably is the most decomposed,
Will be at the bottom.
At the bottom of the pile. All right. What are some of the other things that we could add to our compost pile?
You can add all your kitchen scraps from foods. So in here, I have things like lettuce, cores, apple cores, pears, peelings. We don't add anything from from carnivore animals. So there's nothing in here. There wouldn't be any manure from a carnivore. So there's no cat or dog feces in here. And you can add fur from your pets. So your cat fur or dog fur, but not their manures. You can add eggshells. You can add paper towel tubes, toilet paper tubes, newspaper that's shredded. And don't use the shiny paper. And when you do add paper, you do need to shred it and break it down a bit. That will help your pile too. They say not to use 2 pine needles. It takes too long for them to decompose. If you were, it would only be 2 to 3%. Sawdust is another item that you wouldn't add to your pile. You can add manures from your herbivores, so rabbits, sheep,
chickens, goats.
but not in too high quantity.
And let it leach out a little bit so you're not putting a lot of ammonias from the urine into the compost bin.
You can also add your water from your aquariums and fish bowls.
Little fish manure.
Yeah,
All right.
that would be fine as well.
So we're cooking away here. It's going to get warm. We don't want it in full sun. Could be
No.
too hot.
So she's got it here underneath her peach tree that actually grew out of an old compost pile.
A testament to the power of
Yeah,
compost.
right. So, and this is a pile, she's easy access to the house, easy access to water. So this is in a perfect location. She can compost in this bin for years. This will hold up for many, many years. It's a perfect way to compost. There are tumbler bins also that you just push them and they tumble on their own. So you don't, if you have, you can't do the great workout, you can just push them and they'll tumble.
Just roll, tumble, that introduces oxygen. This is such a great way to recycle, to beef up your soil. Beth has sandy soil, so the compost works great for her because it holds on to some of the nutrients and the moisture better. I have clay soil. My soil loves compost. It opens it up a little bit, so compost is a great idea pretty much no matter what kind of soil you have. We have so much great information at Tagawa's to help you compost in the very best way, the most user-friendly way, the neighborhood-friendly way. We would love to talk to you and help you, your compost pile. Kris is brilliant. Come see us at Tagawa's. We'll help you be green and grow.